Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Wanted to jump on again today. First, yesterday was Christmas, and I wanted to say I hope everybody had a great Christmas day, spending time with families and friends. And I know during the holidays, a lot of people deal with a lot of different things. Well, dealing with, it may be a first time in the holiday for some people who, maybe without a loved one for the first time being away from home, a lot of different things. So for all of that, I just wanted to say, I hope everybody had a real good Christmas. Hope everybody had just some good times, making good memories and, making sure that they're enjoying themselves. With all that said, I hope y'all had some good food and whatever, I got a chance to see family, see some of my kids and my grandkids. So I was excited. I'm excited about that. But man, I wanted to get on here today and have a conversation. And the question that I wanted to ask was, what's wrong with speaking up? Like, what is wrong with speaking up? I would say this, man. Proverbs in the book of Proverbs, it says talks about speak up for those who can't speak for themselves, and those that are destitute, right? The word destitute, if you look up the word destitution simply means without the basic necessities of life, right? And I've been very vocal, very outspoken over the last few months about the plight or the conditions of back home. And the thing is, I'm going to continue to speak up. I'm going to continue to speak up and talk about the conditions, right? Why? Because, and I say this because this is one of the things about it. Last night, I had an individual with basically, when I made a post about accountability would feel like an attack to those who are used to just doing whatever they want to and not being held accountable. And somebody suggested that, why do I always dwell on that, and why can't we just do the Lord's work, do God's work, right? And I simply shared with them a scripture. And the scripture basically said in Proverbs, it talks about when it says, speak up for those who can't speak for themselves and who are basically in a place that who's destitute, right? And like I said, destitution is not having the basic necessities of life. And why not speak up? And my thing that I said too, and I talked about it before, the thing that I said, and I will continue to say this: if what I'm saying bothers you, and if you disagree with it, or you feel like I'm being disrespectful in any way, you can block me. You don't have to listen to what I'm saying. But I can tell you this: 100% of the things that I've shared and I talked about has not been personal in nature, has been presented in a way to raise awareness, so people can see for themselves about the conditions of certain things and how things are presented that may be presented to manipulate people, period. To manipulate people, to mislead people, and to deceive people. I understand too, when you're speaking up about things, a lot of people may be afraid to speak up because of a lot of different variables. You may live in a place where you may be in fear of retribution to yourself, to your family members. You may be fearing, something may be done to you, or something unfavorable may come to you or your family member. What I would say is, sometimes God positions certain people to be able to have to speak out about things because they're not impacted by it. And I just wanted to may not be impacted at the same capacity. But the thing that I really wanted to talk about is the fact that you can't determine what somebody else may be passionate about or want to speak about. You can agree or disagree, right? You may feel as if it's unwarranted. You may feel like that it's unnecessary, but at the end of the day, you can't control what somebody else do. What I've learned a long time ago, I've learned not to dwell on or try to even put any mental capital into trying to worry about what somebody else is saying. If I disagree with them, guess what? There's some people that I follow on social media that at one point I was aligning with them, and then as time went on, guess what? I go and I muted them, that I wouldn't see them. right? I'm not finna sit there and try to argue and get upset about it. I just may disagree with them on that. But I've always respected the fact that they had a right to say and do whatever they please. But I also wanted people to understand this. I wanted people to think about this. I wanted people to think about why when and that's why I said what's wrong with speaking up. When we talk about raising awareness about things, right? It is at times when things are being raised, when you're raising concerns or raising issues, right, that is against what the status quo is. Some people may take that as if it is you're trying to cause division, you're trying to stir trouble, you're trying to divide. No, it's just exposed, right? It's about exposure. And exposure just turn the lights on. Like some things, there's a lot of things that have happened that the community has been blinded on because it hasn't been shared. The right details have not been shared. It just haven't been shared with the community, period. And there's a lot of expectations. There's a lot of rhetoric that's going around about a lot of things. And there's a lot of promises that's been going around about a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff that just not have been shared with the community in the way that the community understands it and understands the impacts of it. Right. And the only thing that I've been doing is I've been finding open source information, providing that information, and I've been asking questions from those that are in those positions that should have been providing that information, freely providing that information, holding them to account to do that, to do so. Because according to Alabama law, they are required to do so. Right. And you should ask yourself, why have these people been so averse or so against providing this information, providing this update, providing those updates, providing that feedback? You know, the funny thing is somebody asked this question and somebody made a statement under another post. Somebody had shared my post, one of my posts, and they made a statement. They removed it now after there was some dialogue between that individual and myself, and I asked some questions. And they shared some pictures that was saying that what I posted was misleading. And I asked a question with another picture, asked them, you know, was it the same thing as I shared before? They said yes. After that, they had deleted the thread in their post. But then after my live, they deleted the whole post. And in that post, somebody said, oh, he always got something to say every day. Only thing he got to do is look up stuff. And he ain't got nothing to do. Well, first of all, like I said before, I'm enjoying my transition to retirement. Second of all, I can do whatever I want to do. Third of all, you got to ask yourself this question. One, or a few questions. The first thing, out of all the things that I've posted in reference to Perry County, Uniontown, Marion, and the Perry County Commission, and Albert Turner, where have I lied? Where have I lied? I provided in every post, I provided verifiable information that you can verify and you can see for yourself that it was factual or that the information that was presented was misleading or false. Every one of the posts that I made, I have been consistent with that, right? I have yet to see somebody to say, you know what, all of this stuff that's been posted, it's been factual, but what they've said is, well, I ain't got nothing else to do. Nobody's asking the question, well, why was that individual providing all of this false information? Why wasn't this information being provided to the people forthcomingly by those in those elected officials positions? Why did it take somebody else to actually go get the information and provide the information so the community that these same people who was elected to lead to have those elected leaders didn't provide the information? And people are upset at me for asking questions, for providing verifiable information. Not one time have they provided and the information that's been provided has been provided in a sense to disprove me. Not in the sense of, let me be forthcoming, let me be forthtelling and coming to the people and informing the people and letting the people know, hey, this is the reality of it. And the thing about it is, if I and other people, because it's not about me, if other people in the community haven't been asking these, because matter of fact, I'm just being honest with you, a lot of people have been asking these same very similar questions, but they don't have the same skin tone that I have, and they white, and they get painted as racist. Now, y'all see this because ever since I've been asking questions, I've been labeled by outsider. I've been attacked as far as with personal attacks because I just asked questions. You said this happened. You said you got this amount of money. According to the agency that you got the amount of money from, they awarded that money on this date. You said you was going to do X, Y, and Z with it. Based off of firsthand knowledge or me seeing it myself or just credible a source, X, Y, and Z was not completed. So why wasn't X, Y, and Z completed? Who did the work for X, Y, and Z? Y'all see what I'm saying? And that's asking simple questions that should already be provided. Like, I mean, and then have the audacity to say, I made a post the other day about the, how a post from July made by Albert Turner said about the National Association for Counties conducted independent analysis and gave grades on Perry County, on the chairman in Perry County Commission. I, in turn, turned around and provided information directly from the National Association for County website, the NACO.org, that shows that NACO doesn't do the independent analysis that Chairman Turner said that they did on the county. That's what I did. I showed that what he said was misleading and a lie. He, in turn, came back and said in a comment that since I can't prove it, that it didn't happen, then I'm only making noise. Well, why won't you share the report that you did a whole dissertation about to try to show Perry County in the light that it's not it, that is currently not reflective of. That's it. Now, the reason why that type of behavior has gone on for years. There's some people that know it's been going on for decades, multiple decades. It's been going on for years. And I just want people to really see and open their eyes about the conditions that we have in our municipalities, in the cities, and in our county government throughout the Black Belt. The conditions that we have is not because of that we are a poor area. It's because we have had incompetent leaders who lack the ability to have the foresight and the vision and the strategic level thinking to bring resources to our area. Because we get funding. We've gotten grant funding. And all of this stuff that comes in, they want to be disrespectful to you long enough so that you just accept crumbs as if like crumbs is something big. And the sad thing is that what people do is people are, I do want to address this. There's a narrative going around saying that, that some people agree with what I said, but they said that I call people stupid and ignorant. I have never once called somebody stupid and ignorant, right? However, what I have done is I've defined what the definitions of stupid and ignorant is, and I have attributed certain people's behavior or actions towards it being stupid or ignorant, not me calling somebody stupid or ignorant. Right? And I talked about incompetence, right? Incompetence means that somebody is consistently shown an inability to do a task or fulfill a job. So if I'm a mechanic and consistently over 6 months out of 20 cars that I fix, over half of them have the same issue, that means that 50% of the fixes that I make, it has a failure rate. 50%, a 50 in school is a flunking grade. So based off of that, I'm showing that I have a level of incompetence doing that task. Does that mean that I'm stupid as an individual? No, but doing that task, yeah, you can say that I'm incompetent. And some people just want to find something to be offended by just so it can justify their bias. Instead of really looking at it from the logical perspective and looking at it for what it is. The reality is this. Like, the reality is this, man. We have to start looking like, hey, why aren't we in a better positions than we were before? Why is that? And we have to ask ourselves that question. What is hindering that? And it's time out for the excuses, man. Like, for real, it is time out for that. It is time for these people who've raised their hand and every time want to come back and say all this stuff. I shared a post this morning. I saw it yesterday, and I gave grace yesterday because it was Christmas. But I saw a post Albert Turner shared from his personal Facebook page, but it made it public because he shared a campaign of Keep Big Al in there. It was a sticker that he had, Keep Big Al. And he said, and I quote, that he is just a conduit to do the Lord's work. A conduit to do the Lord's work. Now, the things that I shared this morning was why certain politicians use religion to manipulate the community. Right? A conduit. Now, we want to talk about the Lord, and this is me speaking faith right now. I'm talking faith. As a Christian, as a believer, because there's different faiths, and I'm specifically talking about the Christian faith. As a Christian faith, the Bible talks about the fruit of the Spirit, right? The Bible talks about there are certain principles and certain things that a person who claims to align themselves with the Word of God and be a believer, you should see certain consistencies in their walk. The Bible also says you judge a tree by the fruit that it bears, right? So I can't be an orange tree, and when you come and you get the fruit off of my tree, and it's a sour lemon, a bitter lemon, and you tell me it's a bitter lemon, but I'm arguing with you telling you it's an orange. I don't get to tell somebody else how they experience you. And what I find highly disrespectful is for anybody, but specifically a politician, to attempt to use God as a sense to act as if that they're doing the Lord's work. That's disrespectful. And to try to bring the Lord's work into you just being a conduit, is it being a conduit when you have been misleading and blatantly lying to the people? Right? Is that being a conduit when you have been deceitful in your actions? Are you being a conduit for the Lord when you have shown consistently that you've used your position to get back and hold grudges against people and be retaliatory towards people? Is that being a conduit of God? Or are you representing the opposite of God? Like, don't play in people's face, man. But sadly, you got some people that will take that and it will be effective for them. And they will go back and say, well, he just got a problem with him, a personal problem with him. No, I want people to see that, man. Like, I want people to see it. I saw this preacher, he was talking about moral integrity, right? And he was speaking on moral integrity being not perfection, but consistency. Like consistency. You're right. Religious abuse. And if somebody, like, just think about it. Just seriously think about it. And they said they love, and in the ChatGPT search that I did, I just asked the question, why do some politicians use religion to manipulate people? Right? And one of the things that ChatGPT, and I shared the search where you can go look at it, it just said that some politicians, they will only do that around election time. And they'll try to paint it like they're doing God's work. Right? And I just want our community to wake up. And the reason why I want our community to wake up is because of this, right? The reason why I want our community to wake up big time is simply because that tactic has been used for so long. And I want to really be honest about it, right? For 40 years, and I'm gonna go back 40 years, I'll say for 20 years, from the 1960s to the 1980s, right? I believe that there was a genuine movement in the Black Belt community where we have a large African-American population to where there were advocacy and there was a lot of work that was done to get representation in to combat a lot of oppressive and a lot of Jim Crow era laws to make it better for the people in our community. I wholeheartedly believe from the 60s, from the pass of the Civil Rights Act, from the beginning of the mid 60s to the beginning of the mid 80s, I really feel like there was a genuine movement done. Fast forward to the 1990s, going into the 2000s. That's when we begin to see a transition. That's when we begin to see a lot of African-American Democrats in the Black Belt begin to get elected into positions of power, positions of authority. We saw it, right? Now, from the 2000s until now, overwhelmingly, in areas in the Black Belt, it has been African-American Democrats have been the people that have been in the positions of power. From the state level to the county level to the local municipalities. If you look throughout, you will see that I'm telling 100% true. And I can go down all of the towns. You can go Aliceville, Utah, Greensboro, Akron, Marion, Uniontown. Even in Marengo, Demopolis, Linden, you start to see a change of the guard. But also, what you also saw is you saw people who we started to see too recycle leadership. People who've been in power and they stay in there for a long time. The Hank Sanders, we had the Andrew Haytons, we had the Albert Turners. Now we got the Bobby Singletons, we got the Judge Wiggins, right? People that have been in these positions, right? And they've been in positions of power for 20 to 25 to 30 years, right? And the thing about it, when you look at it, right? And then you start to look at within the counties, you just got recycled. You recycle the same people. They go from city council, the county commission to mayor and all this, that, and the third. And you got to start asking yourself, where are the significant benefits that we've seen from that? What are the tangible things that we can look at and be like, dang, hey, because of that, I've seen these tangible results. And it's hard to find that. It's sporadic in our area, right? And only thing I'm asking people to do is just open their eyes. But some people, they got the audacity to be upset about me for asking that question. They're upset about me for asking about why haven't the city of Marion leadership talked to them and updated them about the status on them submitting the fiscal sustainability plan to ADAM so that they can have access to more money to fix their the infrastructure, the water infrastructure in Marion. They mad at me and their water was off before Thanksgiving for 4-5 days. Like, and that's the thing that for me, I just be like, dang, like cognitive dissonance at first hand. Displaced anger. Because they feel like it's a personal attack on the individuals that's in those positions. But those individuals in those positions all volunteered for or was politically appointed to do. If something going well, they'll take credit for it. So why would they stand up and be leader and exhibit real leadership when things aren't going well? And man, look, I'm excited about my retirement. I will continue to speak up. I will continue to do things within the community. I will continue to advocate for what's better in the community, engage in the community to do my part. And I would say this too, and I just wanted to say this and get this off my chest. There's a lot of people that have a lot of things to say about me and me speaking up, but not one of them have done anything for the community. Not one of them. It's funny that when I spoke up about Uniontown back in November, people had something to say about me showing pictures of downtown Uniontown. And they organized a cleanup that was 2 weeks later. I drove back from Georgia to Uniontown to participate in the cleanup. I was one of 5 people out there. Not one of them same people that had something to say about me speaking up showed up. How many of those people? I made donations to the Uniontown Rec Center, the Uniontown Uniontown Rec League, to help sponsor the summer for them to play basketball, the kids to play basketball. How many of y'all donated that had something to say or got something to say about it? And it's not about that. What I'm saying is, where are your actions? What have you done? You know, everybody's quick to have something to say, and quick to have something to say negative, saying things about, I don't know nothing, I don't know what I'm talking about or whatever. And I welcome that. My question that I have to you is, what have you done? What have you contributed to the betterment of your community? What have you done? Where's the tangible evidence of you investing back into your community? Besides you disagreeing with somebody who wants better, genuinely wants better for the community in which he was born and raised, and who's done an exceptional job representing outside of the community. What have you done? And if you and it doesn't take much to do. It doesn't take much to do. It don't. And I'm saying that because it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to reach out to a coach or reach out to somebody doing something and say, hey, what can I do? Hey, can I hey, we having something you can donate. Hey, for the summer basketball league, they are doing this, right? And we take we like to feed the kids some snacks or something after. Okay, it doesn't take a 100-pack of fruit snacks from Sam's costs $10. You know, it doesn't take much. You can go buy 2 big things of water and donate it. It doesn't take much to be active and do something. And she said even if we know these people personally, if it doesn't mean that they are above reproach if they are not doing their jobs. That is all. Like, I have said it over and over again. Man, I have nothing personal against these people. I have nothing personal. Like, nothing. I'm willing to help. And I've said it over and over again. But I'm not going to run you down to help you. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to me. And guess what? If I'm helping, I ain't talking about what I'm helping you with, because it's not about that, man. I just want better, man. But what I won't tolerate is just for the blatant disrespect of people that just ignore people and act like what people are asking, the question that people are asking, is wrong. And Jeffrey, you are right. Accountability and pair account. What's wrong with accountability? Like, seriously, this is what we have to normalize. This is what we have to normalize. And I think this, and I do want to say this, right? I was talking to my niece and she brought up something that was funny yesterday. But there's a lot of people that don't know me. A lot of people know of me because I've been gone for a long time. I've been gone away for 27 years, right? Next year it'll be 28. In May, it'll be 28 years. So just say 30 years. I've been gone away for 30 years. That's a lot of people that know me because they knew me growing up. You know, I see Jeffrey on here. I see Shamar. All of us, we was in kindergarten together at R.C. Hatch. We grew up playing in the Cedars, grew up playing around. There's a lot of people I know from the Demopolis because my granddaddy lived in the Demopolis, and I spent a lot of time in the Demopolis. A lot of people know me from Greensboro because I went to school in Greensboro, right? And there may not be a lot of people that know me from Marion, right? And the thing about it is, I have always been an advocate of the black belt. But what has happened is this: because I've been in the military, my time has been focused on me doing my job, serving, doing my job. But now with me retiring, I just got time to focus on the things I want to focus on. And this is one of them. Why? Because why wouldn't I, if I plan on coming home, moving home, why wouldn't I want better? Like, just think about it. Right? And it's easy to have an opinion about somebody that you don't know. Right? And the other thing is, why I'm just curious why people feel like they can tell somebody, have the right to tell somebody what to talk about or what to be concerned about. That's the thing that for me, I ain't never understand that. You know, I've had some people to reach out to me and try to tell me, you know, every battle ain't yours to fight and you should be selective on the things you talk about. And, you know, I may be overstepping. I say you are, and I'm offended by you having the audacity to even try to tell me what I should talk about. You don't even know me from Adam. Like, that's the thing. And the thing is, where's the same energy for these same people who have been in elected positions? And we have questions like, dang, why the basic stuff is not being done right? Basic. I'm talking basic. This ain't graduate level stuff. Basic. And you know what's funny? It makes me think about this. One thing about people in the black belt, people in general, but I know people in the black belt, they don't play by their money. Right? They don't play about their money. Say you go on the job and you know you work some hours and you get your check and they short some hours. Would you sit around and just be quiet about it? Would you just be okay about it? Or will you go and you can stand on business about them making sure they correct that and get you your pay now, not the next pay period? So why don't we have that same energy when the money that comes to the town, the money that comes to the county is your money? Why we let people play in our face about our money and just tell us anything and we be okay with it? Like, do y'all really believe? I just want y'all to think about this. Just think about it. And you know I got receipts and you know I'm gonna post it, but I want y'all to think about it. In 2018, it was the, I can't remember the exact name, but it was the, it was a $500,000 grant that was given for like, park and recreation. It was something about, it was given to Perry County to restore the old historical jail site. That jail, I made a post about it earlier. I'm going to repost it and provide this information, right? They gave $500,000 to restore the historical Perry County Jail, which is right downtown Marion. It was also announced that Perry County Jail was marked as one of the sites on the trail from Selma to Montgomery. Albert Turner announced that they got the $500,000. So 2018 happened. 2023, then you saw a post about they're trying to sell the jail. Then somebody asking the question, hey, what happened to the money? What happened to this? Oh, well, Albert said that they spent some money on to redo, to tear down the paint and to deal with asbestos. But then they sent back money. They end up sending the money back to the people that gave the $500,000 in 2023 because of COVID and because the death of Dr. I can't remember the name, but it was a doctor. I think it was Ivory, if I'm not mistaken. It was a doctor that died. So that's why they sent back. And they said, how much money was sent back? And Albert Turner said under the SM initials, about $285,000 that was sent back. Now, do y'all believe $285,000 was sent back? Now, my question is this: why haven't that information been provided so the people can see that what he said was true? Like, that's all I'm asking. You saying that Albert said that they sent $285,000 back to restore that jail. Now, my question is, somebody had to put a plan in to get the money. So if you got the money, then why didn't you follow through on the plan for it to be restored? Why do we always announce all of this money that we got coming in and we don't see any results of it? And when people ask, hey, where's the results of it or where's the evidence of it? The only thing you get is you get something written on the goddamn Word document that's not an invoice. Or just a bunch of rhetoric with no validated proof. And I said before over and over again, if I've misspoken about something and you provide me verifiable proof, I will come on here and be as loud as I am that I misspoken. But I have yet to this day have been provided with anything that you can validate and go and say, okay, that was correct. Only thing I get is I get hurled insults about my military service, get called private power, sergeant outsider, and all of this, and made claims that only reason why I'm doing what I'm doing because my sister lost the election, right? Or made claims that, what the other claim was, I'm just trying to get paid off of Facebook, or made claims that, I'm an outsider trying to be an insider. Like, that's all, but still no valid proof. And I would tell y'all, dog, there's so much stuff out of there. It's so much stuff that you be like, God, dog, man. But I'm the one being negative. Right? And yeah, you're right. She said all of these grants to improve the city and county, and you can't see it but looking at it. By looking at it, visibly the conditions is getting worse. Albert, Travis, you crazy. He said he put that money towards the brick house his wife took from him. And no comment on that. Travis said the Marion City clerk does the same. Write stuff on the Excel with no receipt. That's all, man. Look, I would tell you, man, like, I'm all about accountability. I'm not talking about perfect, but accountability. Listen, it's about things, right? One, I've learned growing up in the church, and watching my father, how my father did things. My dad was a pastor. My dad started pastoring. My dad had been preaching since he was officially licensed when he was a teenager, was pastoring the church like as a young man. One thing that I learned from him, my dad was never on anything dealing with the finance. He wasn't on none where he could sign the check. Nothing. Right? Because you take yourself away from that so you don't bring in the question on things. So for me too, this is me personally. This is just me personally. I love the schools that do things via apps and not do things via money. Why? Because there's an accountability with that erase any questions for theft. So like, for example, I bought a ticket online for the Hatch and Francis game when they played at Francis. When I went back, I went to the game. What I like about it is people pay their money and they get it. Now, it was a video that went when they was talking about they sold tickets at the door cash for people that didn't buy it online. And then they end up having to close the door because they reached capacity. The reason why I like that is when you only do that, then there's no question about cash. So now when you got cash, how do you really know what was brought in besides if you do ticket stubs? Now, when you're talking about ticket stubs, how do you validate everybody got a ticket? Y'all kind of see what I'm saying? And the reason why I would be an advocate for that is because it eliminates any suspicions. So why won't we do that with our local government? Why won't we do that with our city leaders? Why won't we have automated stuff to where, okay, boom, it's there? You see what I'm saying? It calls into questions. It eliminates any type of room that people can manipulate things, manipulate paperwork, and get away with stuff. Now, I would just say this, City of Marion. This is to the City of Marion. It was put out in the, it was reported that from the Alabama Department of Environmental Management that they received something from the audit, from the 2023 audit. Every citizen of Marion should demand that the city put in a request for information, that you see what that audit was and the results of that audit from 2023. Why? Because that's part of the funding that they got from ADAM to do that audit, and that was part of the packet for the fiscal sustainability plan to receive more funding on it. You need to see what's going on with that audit. Same thing with at the county level. Now, Uniontown, they ain't done an audit, if I'm not mistaken, ain't done an audit since 2012. It's going on 14 years. My daughter was born in 2012. She's in the, listen, my daughter was born February 2012. Uniontown hadn't done an audit in 2012. My daughter in the 8th grade. In the 8th grade, about to be 14 in a couple months. That's crazy work. Now, if you go back, and I want y'all to, this is the impact, right? As I've been looking up grants and everything, when you don't have audits and stuff like that, that limits your ability to get grant funding. I shared it before. I'm going to share it again. I've done some research and I found just the amount of grants that's available for low income areas. And it's a lot of them. The problem is most of the grant requirements for the grants is requiring for the cities to have a completed audit and them to be in good financial standing. So when you sit down and think about it, that's the reason why Because when I go through and because I got time, and when you go through and you look at like a DECA, you go to look at them, you look through USDA and you look through grants awarded in Alabama. That's you can look at it. You can do a quick query in Chat GPT. How many grants have been awarded to Perry County in Alabama from this state to this state? And it'll go to the official sources, and you'll see. And when I'm going through, and I was looking at the Alabama Department of Transportation, their long-term plan, or you look at the ADECA grants that was awarded, and just say one year, and I'm looking at Coosa County got about 8, Baldwin County got about 10. All of these counties got all of these grants going to fix roads, to redo parks, to do all of this stuff. These other municipalities and these other counties are getting grants. And we steady still sitting around with the same old. And if I'm not mistaken, Albert Turner worked for ADECA before he came over to Perry County. So why haven't he used this inside information to make sure Perry County is getting all of this stuff? Everything is announced as this grandiose. The money keep rolling in. All of these grandiose plans, and talk about infrastructure, talk about all of these different things, and using all of these words to make it sound like all this stuff happened. And then you sit down and look, and you driving around, you like, I don't see it. I don't see it. And that right there is why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? There's no political motivation behind anything that I'm doing. There's no political motivation. The motivation that's behind it is I got family members that's been living in Uniontown, living in Perry County, that's battling and dealing with the toxic issues there for years. That the deplorable conditions. It hurt my darn heart when I saw how Uniontown looked downtown. I want people to, people act like I'm lying, right? If you go downtown Uniontown, the road that is where the city hall is at, if you go to the traffic light and you keep going down like you're going down and you pass Brooks Barbershop, right? And you have the old where the Piggly Wiggly is to the left and Brook Barbershop to the right. You can't even ride a skateboard down that road because of all of the patchwork they did on that road. And right in front of the Chevron, if you go down that road, that's right there off of 80, right there to the left where it's run by the Chevron right there, you can't do it on that road. That don't bother nobody. That don't bother nobody. And the thing is, we've been so conditioned that that's become normalized to us. And we shouldn't normalize dysfunction. We shouldn't normalize dysfunction. And this is not, because see, people would see this and be like, he think he better than people. No, man. Everywhere else I go, you don't see conditions like that. You don't. Yeah. 31 months I've spent in a combat zone. 31 months. Spent time in Iraq. Spent time in, was in Qatar. Was in the UAE. Was in Jordan. All these places. And especially in Iraq, where they had bombs blown up on the road. They roads was better than a lot of the roads in the Black Belt. And I'm not exaggerating. Pam said, she said, I'm not here to judge people or call them out. Listen to the why of some of these leaders coming into their roles versus where things are now completely deviates. Yep. Maybe these leaders had great intentions, but when there is no accountability or checks and balances in place, apparently it's quite easy to go astray and justify wrongdoing. They are fighting to stay in positions because they're enjoying the perks and benefits and too busy covering up wrong. Man, 100% agree with you, Pam. 100% agree with you on that. right? And the whole thing is, this is a question with that too. Where that same energy to getting things done and updating the people that they have with getting reelected? Where's that same energy at? Where is it? Like, seriously, ask yourself that question. Like, ask yourself that question. Just ask. And when you turn your water on and your water brown in your tub, or your skin is breaking out from the conditions of that water being contaminated, or you keep having to buy extra gallons of water and spend extra money a month to buy water to drink and to cook with, and you upset at me for asking questions why you have to do that, you may need to sit down and relook at and ask yourself, why am I upset at that? Like, why is what he's saying? Because I'm too afraid to ask the people that's responsible for it. Why is it that way? Because we grew up together, or we friends? Like, real friends hold each other accountable. And it's not personal. If I call myself a friend to you and you acting foolish, you don't think I'll be like, hey bro, hey man, you out of pocket. You was wrong right there. If you get mad at me for doing that, then you just clearly communicated to me that title of friendship, that ain't what we got. Because you don't like accountability. I'm not in your business, but I observe your actions in that capacity. I'm letting you know what you did was wrong. I think that's simple. I think that's simple. Because we got a lot of potential, man. Like, there's a lot of potential back home. We do need to get rid of a lot of people and get some fresh blood in there, because it can't be worse than what it already is. Just tell you that right now. It can't be. And I will continue to advocate for better. I will continue to support back home. I will continue to do whatever I can in the capacity of which I can. Yeah. And you're right. If we can't hold each other accountable, we can't, we aren't real friends. And Lucretia Christian said, Lord, we pray for leaders with integrity and committed to do what is right for the people they represent. Listen, when you have people that tend to do more to sustain themselves than they do to do right by the people they represent, you know, one thing that I love about the military is they have the Army. I'm speaking of Army in general. We have what we call our core values, right? And it's under the acronym leadership: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, personal courage. And from day one, you're indoctrinated with that, the Army core values, right? And I had the privilege of being educated by one of the guy, he was a retired general officer, but he was one that was pegged to come up with those core values. And he talked about it. And he said those core values are something that, as an institution in the military, that everybody needed to follow. And he found that leadership acronym was there. And it goes on and it breaks down each one of them. But the thing that stood out to me the most in all of that was selfless service. Right. A couple years ago, I asked a question. I wrote a song called Why I Serve. Basically what I did was I took the "This Is Why I'm Hot" beat, and then I just said, "This is why I serve." You know what I'm saying? So I just did a little spin on it. But I took everybody responded on why they serve, right? Some people say, hey man, I serve for a job. Hey, I serve for new experience. I serve to get away. I serve to get away from abusive situation. I serve to repay student loans. I serve for all these different types of reasons, right? And, you know, my reason was I served because I was a 20-year-old college dropout who never went to class because I was up at Alabama A&M in Huntsville, living my best life, being involved in extracurricular activities. I just leave it as that. But, and when I came home as a 20-year-old, I didn't have enough money to buy a pack of Kool-Aid, and a pack of Kool-Aid was 10 cents. And I didn't want to sit around and leech off of my parents my parents weren't the reason why I flunked out of school. It was my choices. So I said, hey, I needed a job. And I looked at the job market that was around. It wasn't good. And there was the good paying jobs were, decent paying jobs was like working at the hammer mill, the sawmill. And I didn't want to work 7 hours a week. I'm just telling you, I ain't want to do that. So I said, Lord, I said, this is God honest truth. I said, God, I said, Lord, I came back, was in Sawyerville. I came back home, woke up one morning. I said, God, no, it was one day I was just sitting there. I had hit rock bottom. And I said, Lord, I'm tired. My soul tired. I said, Lord, I surrender. I give my life to you. Order my steps. Show me what you want me to do. The next day, a Be All You Can Be commercial came on, and it came on 8 straight times. So what I mean by 8 straight, every channel that I turned to, I've always been an advocate of watching ESPN and like the Discovery Channel, National Geographic. Like I've always nerded out on those two, but also sports. I would tell you, for 8 straight commercials, the Be All You Can Be commercials, between those 3 channels, I turned, got done, commercial come on. Y'all ever seen it the way you watch something and a commercial come on and then it goes to another segment, and then when it come back, the same commercial, like it did it 8 straight times. That same day, bear in mind, I've been out of high school a year and a half. That same day, my mom and I, we went to Tuscaloosa. When you coming up 69 and you getting off on McFarland Boulevard, to get off on McFarland, to get on University Boulevard down by McFarland, a car in front of us had a Be All You Can Be sticker. When we driving down the road to the mall, one of the billboards, a Be All You Can Be billboard. When I got in the mall that day, a recruiter walked up to me. When I got home that day, I got a letter in the mail from the Army. So I was like, okay, God, I hear you. So I just went to the recruiting station in Tuscaloosa, right up there, right over there where the Krispy Kreme is at, right over there to the side, right before you get to DCH. It's still over there. I went to the recruiting station 26 years ago, walked in, and I said, hey, look, I'm ready to join. And I joined. Like, that was why I joined. Why I stayed was because while I was in, I realized that, one, the Army is easy. The military is really easy. You don't work hard. I really like the fact that, and I was really intrigued about the opportunity to serve and learn and grow with a lot of people from so many different backgrounds. Like that right there was like, listen, I remember in basic training, when I went to basic training at Fort Benning, they give you what we call battle buddies. They give you a battle buddy based off of your last name. My last name, Shepard. My battle buddy last name was David Saronis. And I remember David Saronis because David had graduated from Yale. He had graduated from Yale and joined the military, was at basic training with old country boy from the Black Belt. And we became great friends. There's another guy that was at basic training, an older guy from Africa. He was from Sierra Leone. His name was Taylor. He spoke French. I served with different people from so many different backgrounds, served with different people from so many different religious backgrounds. And I learned from all of them. And I learned that as a community, we don't always have to agree to work together for a common goal. And that's why I say that I grew from it. I've been around people. I had leaders, listen, and the thing, I had leaders to push me in uncomfortable places that got on my everlasting nerves, that had played a major role in my professional and personal development. And guess what? They didn't tell me what I wanted to hear. They told me when I was wrong. They told me areas that I needed to improve in. They was candid with me. They ain't hold back. They didn't care if did I care about it or agree with them. They was honest. And guess what? I needed it. I needed it. I'm telling you, man, look, shout out to Colonel Latanya Jordan. Shout out to Colonel Latanya. She was my battalion commander when I was a captain in Korea. I was her operations officer. And boy, she used to have this purple pen. And when I tell you, she would correct my writing. Anything I brought in there, she would correct it to the T. And listen, when I tell you, I'll just look, I would be excited if I only had 3 corrections from her. Right? And I'm appreciative of it. Why? Because after I left her, my writing improved dramatically. Dramatically. But I needed that. Like, I needed that. I needed a leader. Shout out to Karen Rowe. Colonel retired Karen Rowe, who was my professor of military science at Augusta State. She's the reason why I'm an officer today. Because she held me accountable at a time where I was vulnerable, where I was dealing with depression, I was dealing with suicide ideations, I was dealing with anxiety, I was dealing with a lot of different things. She didn't give up on me, but she held my butt accountable. She made me come to work when nobody else had. I had to be in there. Like, so accountability makes you better when you embrace it and you don't look at it as a negative. Like, and that's what makes me upset, man, back home, because I'm looking at the condition, and it's not good. It's not. It is not. Like, it is not good, regardless of how they try to paint it. Regardless. It's not, and it hadn't been good for a long time. For a long time. But I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. And, you know, it's not even about that, man. I'm just tired of the same old, same old. We should always want better. And I've been on here long enough today. I will continue to advocate, and ain't nothing wrong with speaking up. Nothing wrong. And for people to say, let's focus on the God work, that is God's work. That's in the scriptures. The scriptures and Proverbs says, speak up for those who can't speak for themselves and those who are destitute. Speak out about injustices. Woe to those who order oppressive decrees. You know what oppression is, right? It don't matter about your color to be oppressive. Right? Like, it's certain stuff, man, that if you just sit down and look at it, bro, it's like, what in the world is going on to have an emergency meeting that was supposed, like, this is the thing about it. If you was really thinking about people, you can put in the budget that y'all passed in September that you would give out holiday bonus to the county. If you was really thinking about the people, in your negotiations with the landfill or these other industries, you would have negotiated some money in there so that that could be a consistent thing that would not have to come out of the revenue, other revenue for the county, but that could be added as part of a package deal that coming from the landfill. Right? But because we had people that was in those positions at the time that were just so happy to be at the table, they just took anything. Like, that is taking care of people. Not having an emergency meeting for a political stunt that was only done as political theater, as in a way to gain favor back to the people because you don't like the heat that's coming with you for you being held accountable for lying all of the time. Because if it wasn't a political stunt, then why would you have somebody draft a letter from the office of the chairman so people have to come to your office to just so they can get the check from you? If it was really done by the people, then it would have been voted on. It would have been brought up at the last commission meeting, not done at the last minute. It would have been paid to the people just like they get paid with their direct deposit, right? And then watch this. Watch this. Any one of the other chairmen could have made the announcements. It didn't have to come from you. Or if you was going to send it out, why not send it out on the letterhead from the Perry County commissions, from all of the commissions, because they are the ones who voted for it, not the chairman. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. Like, that is the buffoonery right there that's been going on. That's been going on. Try to silence people, owning certain things, won't approve people posting certain Facebook pages that you manage. Like, that's all type of foolishness. Like, that is oppressive. That is not doing God's work. That right there is not being a conduit for the Lord. That's not. But, I will continue to advocate. I will. I'm not stopping. I'm just being honest with you. You are 100% right, Pam. Narcissistic behavior. Narcissistic behavior. 100%. Classic case. And one thing a narcissist don't like is to be told they wrong, but especially if you show them they words or where they lied at. Oh, they can't stand that. Oh, they can't stand it. They gonna name call. They gonna make threats towards you. They gonna do all of this stuff. Ms. Bag said exactly what Trump did with the stimulus. Put his name on it to make people think that he did a good thing for them. Yep. Yep. And narcissist people have a godlike complex. Yes. That's why they feel like they make statements like, you're not important enough to have the commission to move on anything that you say. Or they make statements like, who are you? Who you think you are? Yeah. Sad. Really sad. But that falls on the community, because as a community, we haven't required them to be accountable. And we need to require them to be accountable and not let up. You guys have a blessed day. Talk to you later. God bless.